Hey everybody, how are you? I wanted to do another segment of the title of what I did previously was poor dysfunctional and the difference between poor dysfunctional and functional. I wanted to give a little bit more of a I don't have my headphones on today, so it might be a little bit too loud out here. So try to try to bear with me. But I wanted to give a little bit more, be a little bit more specific as far as my previous discussion on and poor dysfunctional and functional, poor dysfunctional, and I wanted to continue the discussion because of the fact that when I first had so many interruptions when I was attempting to explain the difference between poor dysfunctional and poor functional. And there is a big there is a difference, there is a big difference, and I was trying to get that point across to you. And I hope I'll do a better job this time. Okay, I want to start with poor dysfunctional. Poor dysfunctional. I want to start with that one first again because I wanted to reiterate what I stated before, which was the fact that poor dysfunctional has all its layers upon layers on top of poverty. They say this to separate poverty and let's put problems, all the problems on top of it. Basically, your foundation. Let's say the difference when there's when you're poor dysfunctional. It's like, let's put it this way. It's like you have less access to certain things, which I wish I would have explained better yesterday. Access to health care, better better medical treatment, better you know better it's hard for you to get access to recreational. I mean, if you want to recreation activity, if you want to go on some recreational activity, like you don't have you can just walk into a club, a golf course, and suddenly play golf. You're gonna have to pay a membership fee or something like that. You can't afford to get in there, and you cannot afford to be in a golf course unless you're mowing the lawn for them, or trimming the garden, or trimming the garden, landscaping. Unless you're doing some sort of landscaping, you're working for those guys for minimum wage or something, or basically maybe you're not even like legal and you're working illegally, and you know. But the point I'm trying to state is that regardless of the situation, okay, poverty is limited access to be limited access to basic, clean, like food, clothing, and shelter. Limited access to that, basic necessities. But doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have that you're homeless. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're homeless. Poverty does not mean that. Being poor doesn't mean that you're being poor. Does not mean that you don't have access to shelter. Does not mean that you don't have access to shelter, or you don't have access to you might have shelter. You might have limited shelter. I mean, you have shelter, but the shelter is normally in a neighborhood that's crime ridden, and it's hard for you to walk through it because it might, it's the middle of the night or something like that because there's a lot of crime that goes on in the neighborhood, drug dealing from corner to corner, you know, those issues, and basically the apartment that you live in, probably the elevator doesn't even work. The elevator doesn't work. It's probably like, urine infection. It's probably urinated. They probably urinate in the staircase. Garbage everywhere. Rats running everywhere. Roaches and rats everywhere. So it's like, those are the problems you are presented when you're in poverty, when you're poor. You're poor, and plus the quality food that you eat, is it's not as good. Instead of eating prime rib, you're eating third-rate meat. Prime. You're eating third-rate meat. You're not eating the quality food, organic food. You're not shopping at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods because it doesn't, you can. It's hard because you can't afford it, especially if you have a big family. You can't afford it. Okay, so I'm defining poverty. That's basically what I'm doing right now. Okay. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm defining poverty and giving you an idea of what it is and what poverty is all about. Okay? And poverty is different here in the United States than anywhere else in the world. Anywhere else in the world is different. It's very different. Very, very different. It's very different. If you was to go to in the United States, poverty is very different. Okay? It's very different. People in other countries that lives in societies, like collective societies, for example, you live in a collective society. In other words, people tend to help each other more as far as poverty is concerned, as far as helping each other. And they have their families are normally huge. You have cousins, nephews. They all live in the same neighborhood together. They live in the same neighborhood together. So it's like, so they all live together. They all band together to support each other. And you still got like third generation, first generation, second generation. They still together. They still together. And they, and at the same time, they work together. They save their money and they eat together. They eat together, big dinners, and they gather the food, hunter-gatherer style. And in reality, that's the way of life is over. That's the way of life is. They don't even realize that they're in poverty. Some of them don't even know that's the way of life is. That's the way of life. It's different. It's different over there. That's why they have. That's why they have so many. Like. That's why they have so many. What do you call it? So many. Excuse me. There's people smoking and shit. They have, blowing cigarettes in people's faces when they're walking. But when they like, when they basically like they living in poverty. So I just lost my train of thought there for a minute. Because people walking, smoking these cigarettes, and they're blowing smoke, and I don't smoke cigarettes, so I don't drink, I don't smoke. But don't judge me because of that. Cause I don't do it. I do it for my health. I don't do it for any religious reasons. I don't do it for anything that has. I don't do it for any religious reasons. I don't do it for any of that. I just do it for myself. I just don't like it. Okay? I just don't like it. All right. So I'm just giving you a heads up on that. All right. So basically, all right. So what we're talking about here is that when you're in a society, and then there's poverty, it's a normal thing. It's normal. It's a normal thing. They don't. That's a lifestyle. It's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing. When you go to those other places, I've never been to any other places. To be honest with you, I mean, I visited. To be honest with you, my wife, she's from the Philippines, so I visited the Philippines. So I know a little bit how the third world works. A little bit. Okay. So I went visiting over there, and it was much. It's just people can. There's certain things that people do over there. Like you can get your dinner by climbing a tree over there, and the mango is on the, it's mango or fruit. It's right there. You could just pick it off the tree. You could just pick it off the tree. So it's a little different. So when we basically I'm explaining to you, I'm defining what poverty is, the difference between poverty over here and the difference between poverty in maybe the third world country, such as the Philippines. But I went to Puerto Rico as well, and there's poverty over there as well. I mean, when I went there a long time ago, when I was a kid, I was wearing Michael Jordans, and they were like saying, well, they thought I was a rich kid because I had Jordans on. To me, I always dress fresh all my life. Regardless of the situation. I always look good, at least decent. I always took care of myself. Always. And I try to maintain myself. If I don't, who's going to maintain? That's how you got to look at it. You got to take care of yourself. But when I went to those places, it was different because I used to try to fit in, but I always have, they're out there, kids, there's kids, kids are kids, you know what I mean? Like, when I was a kid, I never saw that. I never looked down upon someone else because they weren't wearing brand names. I was not like that. Never. I was never like that. Even though I wore them, I was not like that. Never like that. Never. All right, my friends. I had friends that were different from every class. I mean, I had friends not because of I didn't see. When I went to high school, I never had problems. Never had problems with bullies. I never had problems with anybody because of the fact that I learned how to get along with everybody. I learned how to get along with everybody. I got along with the popular kids. I got along with everybody. I got along with the nerds. I got along with everybody. I didn't even classify them like that. You know what I mean? Now I'm saying that now because I'm trying to give like a little perspective on a little, I never labeled people, but there were nerds, and there were popular kids, and there were bullies as well, and there were jocks. That's the way people, there were jocks, and that's the way people were back then. There were jocks. That's the way, but I would never ever, I was actually very athletic, and I was on the team. I was almost in every team in the book, I played in everything. I did everything. I did everything. I did everything when I was a kid. I mean, when I was in junior high school, I actually played a little bit of I ever tried out for the team, softball team. I was actually pretty good, but I didn't make the team for some reason. It was a hard. I didn't make the team because I don't know. I was actually pretty good. I didn't make the team, and since then I never even tried out for a team, for a baseball team. When I went to Kennedy, I didn't even try out for the team. I tried out for football. I tried out for gymnastics. I tried out for handball. I did all those things. I was a very athletic kid, you know. So that's what I did. I tried out for all those teams. I did whatever I had to do. You know what I mean? I was a very, very active kid. You know what I mean? That's what I did. You know, I was a very active kid, and I was always, always, and I got along with everybody, and there was no such thing as mass shootings when I was born. When I was going to school, no such thing as mass shootings, none whatsoever. Not in my community. There was no such thing as racism. There was no such thing as mass shootings. It was almost utopia, but not in that sense. You know what I mean? Not in that sense. It was almost utopia, but not in that sense. But what I'm trying to say is that they had none of that. They had no mass shootings. No mass shootings. There was no such thing as mass shootings. There was no such thing as mass shootings. There was no such thing as racism. Yo, I've never racist. We ran when we were like. And I had friends from every walk of the world. I had all sorts of everybody. African friends, African American friends, I had Dominican friends, I had Colombian friends, I had Cuban friends. I had everybody from every different walks of life. You know what I mean? I even had Muslim friends, Not until I got to college, though. There were some Muslim friends. There were Muslim friends there. I met a couple of Muslim girls. They were very nice. Actually, I never knew. I had my friend that was Puerto Rican. He was Puerto Rican, and he was Puerto Rican. So I was like, he was Puerto Rican, so he was like, what do you call it? He was a Muslim. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, oh, okay, fine, that's great. You know what I mean? But he was okay. And then it's like what? It was 1990. There was no such thing as ISIS. We didn't have ISIS. We didn't have all these problems. We didn't even have 9/11. We didn't have any of those problems. None of that. None of those problems. So when I was basically, I would consider myself. I don't know what would you consider me as far as class is concerned, but we weren't poor, but we weren't rich either. But actually, you know what? I don't know, man. I don't even know, but we weren't poor, we weren't rich. I don't even think we're on food stamps. I don't even think we're on food stamps. I don't even think so. Maybe back in the days, I remember back in the days, like they used to hand out blocks of cheese, and we used to get online for it. But we weren't really. We was always well off. I would consider myself. If you want to consider me a classification, if you want to either or, I would say that we were poor, dysfunctional. Just because I say poor, dysfunctional, just because there was some issues. My brother You know, my brother was a very sick person, you know. And my other brother, you know, he wasn't all there either. So, and my sisters, I'm the youngest in my family, the youngest. I was the youngest person in my family, and we were like, I was the youngest person in my family, you know, the youngest person. I was the youngest person in my family, so it's like I was the youngest person in my family, so it was kind of like, you know, so I didn't have exactly, did not go through what they went through. There was still issues, and a lot of issues, and I lost my brother, you know, you know, and there was problems. So I would say that that's meant for a whole other story. So I put myself as core dysfunctional in a sense, because my brother was a very sick person. You know what I mean? And there were some issues that were there. You know, there were some issues that were there, and that's something that, you know, I wouldn't communicate. I wouldn't communicate, you know, out loud to anybody. Not right now. Maybe I'll share. I would share. I would share whatever it is that's on my mind. You know, whatever it is, I'll share it. You know, and one day, but that's a whole other topic. So I don't want to. I want to. My whole. I'm trying to stick to the topic here, but basically, it's about poor dysfunctional and poor functional, and definitely, my family fell under the poor dysfunctional because of the fact that we were, but in a sense, we could have been in the middle, technically, in the middle. We could have gone in the middle. We could have gone in the middle of being either or. Actually, we could have been poor functional. But my mother worked. She had a, you know, and I and my stepfather was receiving Social Security, so I don't know. We were doing okay. You know, I don't know, man. I don't even know because I was a kid, but I went to school. You know what I mean? I did what I was supposed to do. I never gave her any problems when it came to school. I love going to school. You know. So all right. So let me get to the point here. Okay. So when so that's how I define, obviously, my definition of poor dysfunctional. I just gave you a little bit of an idea of being poor dysfunctional. Poor dysfunctional having basically layers upon layers of, let's say, mental health issues, substance abuse. Like your family can be domestic violence, stuff like that sort of plagues a family. You know what I mean? A family, and those things is what's considered, I would say, poor dysfunctional. You know, family, poor dysfunctional, and on top of that, you're all poor. Basically, you're poor. Poor meaning that you don't have access to the best education. You don't have access to the best health care. You live in the projects, or you live in some like run down tenement. You know, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's poor dysfunctional. And maybe maybe you're on public assistance. You know, you're like on public assistance or something. So all those things add up to being poor dysfunctional. Okay, all those things. Okay, I just want to cut to the chase. All those things. You know. Now let me get to poor functional. Poor functional. Poor functional is when somebody, when basically a family that just don't have, they're poor, That's basically what they are. They're poor, and they don't have any. They they don't have access to the best health care. They don't have access to the best, to the best health care. They don't have access to, they don't have the things that they're poor. They're basically the only issues that they have basically is they're they're poor, but they're not, but they're functionable. They're a functional family. They're poor, but they're functionable. They don't have the, they don't have all the, they don't have the issues that the dysfunctional families have. On top of the poverty, they're in poverty, but they're not, but they're functional. They're 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 very educated people. You know, they're educated. They're people that know how to survive in hard times. You know what I mean? They know how to survive in hard times. They know how to survive in hard times. They know how to you know, they know how to survive in hard times. They're how do you say it? They're poor dysfunctional people have, what they have going on for them is emotional stability. Emotional stability. That's what they have. They might be poor, but they have emotional stability. Emotional stability. That's what they have. You understand? Emotional stability. That's what they have. You know what I mean? That's what they have. Emotional stability. They're, and they have a kind, loving family. And the majority of the time, they're big families. The reason why they have their cousins, their nephews, and they live close nearby, like in the same neighborhood. They live in this. You know what I mean? They could be living in the same building. Like they occupy all 3 floors or something like that. But they're poor, but they work together to sustain each other. They work together to sustain each other. That's how they survive. And they have the emotional support on top of that. Like they say, if somebody gets sick in the family, there's always somebody there to take care of the person, to take care of whoever's sick. Grandma's sick, and somebody's gonna be there with grandma. And everybody else are hunter-gatherers. They're gonna go out, and they're gonna go out, and they're gonna go out, and they're gonna gather. They're gonna go and get whatever they need to make grandma better. They go get the chicken from the barn and pluck it and make chicken soup. They work together. They support. There's support. Support network there. Support network. Love. There's love. I'm not saying that a family that is a little smaller, they're able to absorb they're able to absorb the impact of something like the trauma, because of the fact that they have they have like a family that's a family that's basically a family that's able to withstand hard times, because they have a close knit family. They have a lot of love. A small family could survive as well, maybe even bigger than a bigger family, because they don't. I mean, as far as budgeting their money is concerned, and and being able to budgeting their money and being able to to save money, and maybe they don't have to like spend as much. But the problem is, the, the problem is with that is that if the sole provider, something happens and they get sick, then it's a big problem for everybody. It's a big problem for everybody. Big problem, you know. And then something happens, you know. I mean, if they don't have they don't have the resources like a bigger family has, with order, you know, with you know, and especially if they love each other, you know, like they're poor, but they're, you know, they like all the poor functional families. There's a poor functional family. They would be able to. Their poor functional family, they'll be able to absorb a lot of that trauma and help each other through hard times. Understand? Unlike somebody that's, let's say, poor functional, but they're a little, maybe not as, not they don't have as much relatives or to you know, to be able to if something was to happen to the breadwinner, you know, who's gonna step in and take over for them? You understand? It's a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit more. They're a little bit more vulnerable than a poor functional family. But a poor functional, regardless of the situation, whether they're a small family, whether they're a big family, right? Whether they're a big family, they're a poor family. Poor functional meaning that they provide the love and the nurturing to their children, you know, which, and there's no other issues like, for example, like substance abuse, mental health. There's no issues as far as there's no medical issues, you know. There's none of that stuff. There's no domestic violence or any of that stuff. You know what I mean? There's none of that. You know? So those are the things you have to take into consideration. When they don't have any of the drama. They don't got none of that stuff. They don't have no problems. But if they do, like for example, one of the siblings was to fall into have issues, they will always, like, let's say there's a bully in school or something like that. Ain't nobody gonna bully a family that has 15, 25 you know, children, you know. So let me tell you something. When you go to the countries that are, you know, that third world countries or something like that, they have children because of the fact they have a lot of children because of the fact that because of the lack of medication and the chances of somebody of the chances of because of the fact that, you know, normally they don't go to hospitals to give birth. They give birth at home sometimes. You know what I mean? And the survival rate is you know, it's not for a child. It's very limited. I mean, it's not. It's very you know, there's a possibility there can be some, you know, there's a possibility that they might lose their baby. You know, that happens. You know, that's because of the fact that that's the reason why they have so many kids. You know, they have a lot of kids because of the fact that a lot of them could die. A lot of them would probably die of starvation as well. You know what I mean? Or disease. So that's one of the reasons why they have such big families in a lot of those third world countries. And some of them, when they come, and a lot of them have that type of mentality when they come here to the United States. Or, that where they, let's say if they, for whatever reason, they wind up here in the United States, and they wind up in a country that they wind up crossing the border, and they wind up coming over here. Normally, those type of families, they're prepared when they come here. I mean, a lot of them, be honest, let's be honest, man. A lot of the people that come from other countries normally are not the people that are they're normally the people that have money. They're the ones that have money. They normally the people that have money. They come over here on planes. They don't come over here. I don't care what anybody. They come over here on planes and they have like their family have money, and they come over here to go to school, universities and stuff like that. Not the ones that be coming in here illegally. Some people come from illegally. They come illegally. I could say probably, a lot of people that come over here, and they already have money. They come in here, and they already have like relatives here, and big difference, right? There's a really big difference, So that's a whole other topic. I don't even want to go there. I'm not even prepared to talk about a topic like that, because we're going to get to the point. I don't want to be sounding like I don't want to talk there. I don't want to. We were talking about, basically stay on top. Okay, stay on top. Called poor dysfunctional and poor functional. That's basically what I want to talk about. And the poor functional basically is people who are basically good people. They're good people. They don't mean any harm. They're not. They're people who come to work. They're hard-working people. That's what they are. And a lot of these people that poor functional people are the people that poor functional people are the people that go to poor functional people are the people that go to that are the ones that live in neighborhoods that are drug infested, and they're the ones that try their best not to stay out of trouble and go from point A to point B, not to get hurt by anybody or anything like that, not to get robbed. They're coming home from work, hard day's work, and they just want to relax and relax with their family, stuff like that, and they have to go through they have to go through they have to walk through a neighborhood that's not safe, or in their building that, the elevator doesn't work, and there's urine infected, urine everywhere. You know what I mean? Urine in every floor. People smoking crack. And basically, they're basically trying to survive. They're trying to survive. They're trying to survive. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to survive. But there's no. It's other than that. The poverty stuff. It's basically. It's the only issue as far as being poor. Poor functional. They don't have any issues They don't have domestic violence. They don't have any of that stuff. They don't have substance abuse issues. They don't have people who maleantes. I mean, bad people in their family. They're good people, good-hearted people. They show what they have is love. They have love in their family. Love. They show their love. They have love, and they have a nurturing family, tender loving care for their children. You know what I mean? They tender love for their grandparents. Love for the and it's based on it's all and it's all like it's all natural. It's authentic. That's the difference. And then they're that's all functional is. They probably have to. They don't necessarily have to be homeless. They're not. They're just living. They're on a budget. They're on a budget. They buy generic clothing. Generic clothing. That's what they buy. They buy generic clothing. You know what I mean? They buy generic clothing. They buy generic clothing for they don't buy brand names. They can afford it. Their family is probably a little bigger. Their grandmother and their grandpa probably lives in the same apartment as they do. And kids are taught to take care of the elderly. They feed them. Grandma takes care of the children. Children takes care of the grandma. And they pass that along to each other. They pass those values among each other. They pass those values. Parents do not hit their kids. They don't have to. They have such a big family that the kids are like, they're always playing with each other. They never get bored. Never get bored with each other. They never get bored with each other. They always like, they never get bored with each other. They're like, they're big family. So kids, the little sibling, the big sibling will always take care of the small sibling. They'll always take care of each other. The kids look out for each other. And they taught that. Those values they're taught that. They're taught that. They're taught that. They know that to stay away from maleantes and stuff like that. They don't get into problems. They never sway away. It's like you're in if you're in a farm or some shit. You're in a farm and then there's a cattle and you got the sheep and you got the sheepdogs keeping the sheep in line. That's the same thing. Same thing. They keep the stock. They keep them from straying away, so the alligators don't get to them. Lions and tigers and bears, they don't get to them. Alligators, lions, and tigers and bears, they don't get to them. So, that's the way a functional family functions. That's the way it's supposed to function. A poor functional family. I'm talking about poor functional family. That utilizes their resources. Nothing is ever wasted. Nothing is ever wasted. Nothing. I'm sure they probably get like assistance from public assistance or something like that. Sure. I mean, sure. And then you gotta always remember that when kids grow up, when the kids, they're mature. The parents taught them how to be there's a certain there's a certain way that that when they conduct themselves, you know. And depending on what society dependent on the society that they live in, depending on the society that they live in, you know, in the way they grow up. I mean, like, all right, there's flaws coming from a collective society to a society like individualistic society like the United States of America. There's a big flaw. I mean, there's a flaw in their society because certain things are accepted in their country and over here it's not accepted. You know what I mean? So, for example, um, like if you're, you know, they age, you know, as far as marrying is concerned. I mean, you know, they don't understand that over here in the United States. You know, you're a minor here in New York City. You're a minor when you're 17 years old. You're still considered a minor. You know. So if you were to like to basically if you were to date you know, those people, they don't see, they come over here, that's the biggest mistake you know, they cross that line, and you cross that line, they're going to jail. Simple as that. You know? So, I think, you know, a lot of them, they don't, you know, laws here are very strict when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, and, the ones that come over, like, you know, as an individualistic society here in the United States, you know, they push you out the nest early here. There's no, like, you know, and you live in you go to a country that basically are a collective society. They will keep you. You stay there. You basically don't get kicked out the nest ever. You know, ever. You basically don't get kicked out the nest ever. That's what happens in a collective society. You don't get kicked out the nest. You know what I mean? You know, you don't. You stay there, and you know you become a part of the family. You're part of the family. So basically, you run, do chores and stuff like that. You go to the store. You know, you go to the store, and you go to the store or something, and you know, do those things. You go to the store, and basically you know, you do chores until you, like, one day discover your craft, or you discover your craft or something, you know, and you become a you know, whatever it is, you know, whatever it is, you become whatever you want to be, you know. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, in those societies, your trade, whatever trade you're in, that's normally what you're probably gonna do what your father's. You're probably gonna be, your father's a farmer. You're probably gonna be a farmer as well. You know what I mean? That's what happens. You know. So this is cut to the chase like that. And there's certain traditional societies here in the United States that are the same way. You know. You know, in the cities, you got more options. And like you hit 21, and you still living with your parents, or 22, 23, you have to find some sort of niche as soon as possible. As soon as possible. Certain people, you know, the wealthier you are, you understand? The wealthier you are, basically, you know, you're gonna try to encourage the kid to get a job or something like that, so they could at least, you know, support himself and maybe save a little money so he can get his own place, or he can go back, or he can go to college or something like that and learn a trade or something over here. That's the way it is. And learn a trade. That's the way it is. You know. And that's something that that's something that that's what individualistic society for you right there. That's the individualistic society. That's an individualistic society for you right there. It's just something that we're, that's basically, I mean, the family nucleus. The family nucleus is something that we, the family nucleus, the mother, the father, that's what we build upon a family nucleus, and then we run it, and then you have the mom, the pa, the mother, the father, and the kid, right? I mean, you're detached from the rest of the family. I mean, like you might have family, but they're gonna be scattered. They're not gonna be together. Most of the family, I mean, you're basically on your own. I mean, like, you get people that's gonna help you out. You know what I mean? They're gonna help you kind of like, there's gonna be like somebody that, not all families are the same. Everybody's different. That's what I mean. And when I start talking about core functional and core dysfunctional, your family is like dysfunctional. There's a possibility that somebody's gonna help you. Somebody within your family. That's more of a possibility, like that someone that you probably would have to like find an outside some organization. Let's say you're addicted to, you have a drug addiction, for example. There's more of a possibility that somebody from outside or some organization is gonna help you and try to give you a referral to get you help. That's gonna happen. Here in the United States of America, here especially if you're in New York, especially if you're living in New York, if you're living here in New York City, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of organizations here. I was talking about that the other day that I can offer that will help you as far as you have a substance abuse issue. That'll help you out. You go to, that'll help you get the help that you need. And another thing is that they also will provide you with some sort of financial assistance to help you out. But you're given a certain amount of chances, even with getting help. Because if you've been to a detox or some sort of, if you've been to like a detox or something like that, and if you've been to or some sort of substance abuse, if you've been to a substance abuse treatment program, and if you've been to like a substance abuse treatment program or something like that, and a couple more than once, you get limited amount of chances. You get a limited amount of chances as far as getting help is concerned. So you have to really, like people getting fed up with repeat offenders. That's what they're getting fed up with. And they're cutting down on shit. They're cutting down on a lot of stuff. And even when it started with straight Medicaid, when you get straight Medicaid, which is really difficult to get, actually. Not everybody's be eligible for state Medicaid. Not everybody. Like they used to have Section 8. They canceled it out too. Not everybody can get Section 8 or state Medicaid. No, not everybody can get that. Only a couple of people. Only a couple of people can get stuff. Only people who are really eligible can get stuff like that. Like you really have to be like, basically you probably would have to have been on it for a while, in order for you to even get Medicaid, state Medicaid, or like Section 8. You probably would have to be on. You probably would have, because they got these things now they call, vouchers now. They don't just like, you have to be eligible for a Section 8 voucher, which is actually sort of like falls into the same. They have other ones now that's called Link. They got other ones now that offer vouchers as well. So everybody is eligible, but everybody is eligible. Everybody, it depends on your obviously. So for that interruption. All right, sorry for the interruption. I'm actually using my phone, so I get phone calls as well. So basically, what I was just saying before is that people who are, everybody is basically not everybody's going to be eligible. Let's just put it that way. It's not like before. That's changed, and they're trying to like, and Trump and those guys, they're, because President Trump, is trying to basically change the food stamps as well. He's trying to like, he's trying to wean people. People are getting turned down for food stamps. They don't get as much as they used to get. They're getting turned down because basically what President Trump is doing right now is that he's trying to wean people off of it. That's what he's trying to do. That's why you hear turn people down. He's trying to turn people. That more people are getting turned down for food stamps. And everybody can get. It's because you think that you'll probably be as far as you have to be eligible as far as the income. Your income has to be what? You have to be below the income. You can't have you can't have anything. You can't have money saved in your bank account. A certain amount of money saved in your bank account. I think between you and your spouse, you have to have at least money in your bank account have to add up to like maybe 5,000 or something like that. Have to add up to at least 5,000 between your two. I don't even I think that's the I believe that's I can't but not everybody's eligible for food stamps. Even getting food stamps. My family's not even eligible for food stamps. I mean we're over budget. We're over the income bracket. Which is terrible. It's terrible because we were eligible for WIC at one time. Everybody's eligible for WIC. Everybody is. You have a newborn baby. If you have a baby, you're eligible for WIC. You're eligible. Doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. I think you can get Infamil. You can get all that Infamil or iron. You can get all that stuff. You can get all that stuff. So you're basically eligible. So you have to be like so you're eligible. You get WIC. Anybody can get WIC. Anybody. I didn't even know that. To be honest with you, I had my first kid. I only have one kid, by the way. I'm not like I'm not like I'm not a baby factor. I'm not a kid. My wife. We're not. I have one kid basically right now, and I mean, I never knew that WIC was I never knew that WIC, you can be, anybody can get WIC. I didn't even knew WIC. I heard of WIC, but I never knew that, that we were eligible for it. Although I worked, you know, although I worked, I never knew that we were eligible for it. So, can't stop it. So basically, so I never knew that you were eligible for WIC. I never knew that. I never knew that I'll be eligible for WIC. I never knew that. I never knew that would be the case. But I was. And thanks to my wife and stuff, she's the one that sort of like applied for that. It really helped a lot. Thanks to WIC, guys. I really appreciate your assistance and stuff as far as my first baby was concerned. You know what I mean? Because, let me tell you something. Because Inframills for iron, those is like expensive, man. Pampers are expensive. Actually, I don't think they get, I don't know, hold up, did they? I don't think Pampers I don't think WIC doesn't give you Pampers. But WIC, they don't give you Pampers. But they give you Inframill with iron. That's what they do, They don't give you Pampers, But, yeah, and also they give you a lot of other goodies and stuff like that, rice and stuff like that, rice and beans. There's a section in the supermarket, and that's going to change as well, because now right now they have like right now that's going to change, right? That's going to change as well, because what it is that people are that's going to change, because now Donald Trump is trying to get people to he's trying to get people to they're going to eliminate food stamps entirely. Eliminate food stamps entirely. Sooner or later, that's gonna go out the window. You know why? And they're gonna send care packages to people's homes. They're gonna deliver them via UPS mail. They're going to give you a month's worth of food, and you have to live off of that. And it's all knockers. They already showed a little bit of what's there to come in the future. And it's not very pleasant. It's not something to look forward to. Hopefully that I give people incentives, to start their own business, and, become an entrepreneur, something like that, because that's not where it's at anymore. They're just trying to eliminate. They're just trying to they're not trying to encourage people to get into to be eligible they're not trying to get people to apply for, encourage people to apply for public assistance or anything like that. So the way things are going, but New York will probably fight it to the bitter end, because you have to have checks and balances. We can't go back to the way we were before, man. What's going to happen if Trump and Republicans had their way? It'd be like the Great Depression all over again. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen, basically. It's going to be the Great Depression all over again, and that's what's going to happen. I'm sorry to say, Trump. I believe in. There's a lot of things that I agree and I disagree. And the greatest thing the greatest thing that we have in this country is the ability to voice our opinions. The First Amendment. That's something that we should be, grateful for. A lot of other countries And other countries don't have that. Don't have that. Don't have that. Don't they have that? The you know, we can protest. We can do all sorts of stuff here. You know, checks and balances. That's what we do have, and I think that's what makes this country strong. You know, and then we start bringing back the robber barons. You know, it actually is against the law. Technically, monopolies, but they do happen. Monopolies do happen. They do, but they go undercover. You know what I mean? You know, but yeah. I mean, that's how I feel. But so let's get back to poor dysfunctional and poor functional. Okay. So what we're talking about here is poor functional. Okay. The poor functional basically entails that, you know, it's a poor dysfunctional family is a family that don't have access to. They might not have access to clean water, or might not have access to medical assistance, for the best. Might not have access to certain things that we are accustomed to getting here in the United States of America. But there's actually people here that are in poverty here in the United States of America that can get access to specific access they can't get access to, they don't have to. All right, listen, like I said, when you're poor, when you're functional families, poor functional families, they have access to the basic necessities. Okay, the basic necessities: food, clothing, shelter. Okay, those three things, they have access to that. As far as brand names, as far as only being able to wear generic brands, they can only afford to buy generic brands, and they're probably like on public assistance or something like that, let's put it that way. They're probably on public assistance. All right. Here in the United States of America, you have opportunities to be better. Like for example, for example, you have opportunities here. Like, you are given options. Like, for example, you can get yourself out of that situation and be better. You can get yourself out of situations like that and work for and start working for your benefits. You start working for your benefits. That's the difference between living in the United States of America and living in another country. In possibility, you probably never will have the opportunity to improve your life. You're probably not going to have the opportunity to improve your life. You're going to wind up, if your parents are farmers, you're going to wind up probably being a farmer as well. This is a sad state of affairs. But you know what? In reality, it's different over there. Because sometimes they have an advantage in those countries as well. Like over here we got smog. We have smog. We have pollution everywhere you look. You know, but a lot of those countries though, they're not protected from that either. So a lot of the rainforests are dying and stuff like that. A lot of, you know, I mean, it's an unfortunate state of affairs. It's an unfortunate state of affairs. But everything, because due to globalization and due to globalization and you know, a lot of things are, you know, communication, globalization, you know, everything is changing. Not we're basically not like you know, this we're going, you know, technology, corporations, they're taking over the world, you know, as far as monopolies are concerned. That's why they go out from the United States and they take over these other places. Our foreign policies was destroying the world. Everybody would say that, you know, like they'll say the United States of America was like a spider on the web of nations. You know, it's because of the foreign policies. You know, foreign policies. You know, we're you know, and unfair state of we'll become the, and then that is affecting the domestic production here in the United States. You know. And how other people see the United States. You know, they see us as evil or something like that. I don't know, man, but it just, you know. But hey, I'm not gonna get into the politics of everything because I'm trying to stay away from that because it's a sensitive topic, you know. You know, it's a sensitive topic. That's what it is. You know, and we're all. But you don't have any other place in the world like us. No other place. You know. Everybody have their eyes set on coming here to the United States. You know. How many other people in the world say, let me go to Canada. This is better there. No, it's not. Everybody can say whatever they want. It's not. I mean, they probably can go and say, hey, because they have, like, you know, the healthcare. Healthcare is the healthcare system. Everybody gets free healthcare, but it's the quality. It's the quality of free healthcare. You know what I mean? It's the quality of it. You know, over here, over there, it's not the same. You know, healthcare compared here with all the private corporations here. And that's the reason why they have no control over. They don't want to create universal healthcare in the United States here. It's too much profit. You know? Of course not. They're not going to do it. Come over and start up a conversation and trust me and trust me, I'll give it a try. You know, it's real, you know. So, I don't think universal health care is ever gonna. Donald Trump is trying to, like, whatever Obama did, he's trying to break it. He's just like breaking it down. You know what I mean? Piece by piece. That's what he's doing. You know, he's breaking it down, and then that's just unfortunate. I don't know. Like I said, I wanted to stay away from the politics. I want to stay away from religion. I want to stay away. I want to stay away from politics. I want to stay away from any of that stuff. Religion, politics. You know, I want to stay away from that. And I want to continue with my discussion on poor dysfunctional and poor functional. That's what I like to do. And that poor dysfunctional has the could become poor functional. I mean, at some point, or even I even jump from poor dysfunctional to over poor functional, and into maybe middle class or something like that, or not even middle class. But yeah, maybe they could it depending on their it depends on how it depends on hard they work. You know, it depends how hard they work. You know, it depends how hard you work and how hard you work to want to be better. You know, that's the difference between living in the United States of America and living in any other place of the world. You know, that's the big difference. Always keep that in mind. You know, a lot of everybody that comes from other countries, they come over here, they got money. You know, a lot of them have money to make investments and to open up businesses and stuff. Some of them are fortunate, and the majority, and believe it or not, the majority of them, that's basically what they do. You know, that's basically what they do. That's basically what that's basically what they do. They normally come to the United States of America and they open up business, because a lot of them do come over here with money. I mean, I'll be honest with you, if someone here starts from poverty, I mean, which is possible. I mean, there's stories, they're rags to riches stories. There is, but it's, you know, there is, you know, it happens. I'm not saying, I mean, maybe a poor functional family will probably have a better chance of becoming, will have a better chance of having a rags to riches story, you know, rags to riches, you know. Yeah, like I said before, the functional family, the story of rags to riches. The father that works long hours as a security guard at night, sort of story, to feed his family. If one of his children becomes like a Mozart, for example, you know, that's you know. All right, so those are the things that happen. But if somebody comes out of a dysfunctional family and basically takes advantage of the opportunities that he's given, they say because of the fact that he comes from a dysfunctional family, that helps. You know what I mean? They say there's people who they maybe for some reason a coach from a football team to basically basically they coach from a football team basically takes one of and his wings and say, hey, I want to make you a better player. I've seen some abilities in you, you know, and molds them into something. That right there, you see, then you get, but the rest of the family, but basically, you know, the fact that the coach also saw, well, this kid is gonna need like, you know, it's gonna need guidance. It's gonna need guidance. That's what this kid's gonna need. And he has the kid basically don't have any backup. You know, his family doesn't really have a strong foundation. Let's just put it that way. He doesn't have a strong foundation. You know. And he will take him by the wings and say, I'm going to give you the foundation you need to get better. And that in itself is a beautiful thing, you know? So, I'm just I'm just saying, So basically, it's rare when somebody comes from a poor dysfunctional family to be like something great. It's a rare. And then sometimes, that helps too. Sometimes it just can happen because, not, I mean, great in a sense where, not great like, like, for example, like people rise out of poverty, like rise out of dysfunctional family, like becoming a drug dealer or something, and you know what I mean? And then riding or parading around their neighborhood. I'm not gonna. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about somebody that comes out of a poor dysfunctional family and then becomes something legitimate. Making become like becomes legitimate. Having I mean, it could be anything. Be honest with you. You don't even have to, be honest with you. You work for the parks department. You know what I mean? Something legitimate. Something legitimate. That's what I'm talking about. Something legitimate. That's what I'm talking about right there. All right, so I'm just gonna. My battery is running kind of low on my phone, so I'm actually using my phone to film this. So I'm gonna say goodnight to everybody. I think I've been on this pretty long, and I think I made it clear better than before. But if you would like to make a comment, and just give me a comment or like. If you'd like to make a comment and give me a like, just go right ahead, please. Go by all means. Go right ahead. See, I'm using my phone and somebody is really interrupting me right now. And I'm trying to get this in. Okay? So, comment. Like and comment. Por favor. Adios. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Love you guys. Dan, that was my wife. I was just telling her that, what are you interrupting me for? I'm trying to finish this YouTube video. But my battery is running low as well. All right then. My battery is running low, and No, I don't. My battery is running low, and I'm trying to my battery is running low, and I'm trying to basically finish this YouTube video. All right. So and I'll talk to you later. C'est la vie, and adios. All right then. Be good. Be safe. Bye-bye.